Hey everybody. So today is going to be the summative for Unit 1, where by 11:59 tonight, the three summative tasks you've got doing for this unit, your short story presentation, your short story written, and what you're going to be doing today, your test, are all due. If you're a little behind and you're getting things in, after today, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry so much about late marks. Just make sure that you spend the time and do it properly and get it in. Late marks only start to accrue if, we have many subsequent late assignments. And then even then we can chat. So big thing is just get it in, get the stuff done, and do a good job with it. So just really quick, I'm going to walk you through what we're doing today, the test, and how I would like you to answer the questions, which is very similar to everything we've done. So here's our success criteria. Okay, so our learning goals is that you'll demonstrate your understanding of the express and reflect writing style. The last question on the test is this. Demonstrate understanding of 6 elements of short story. You will apply the express and reflect elements you're on writing, and then you're going to continue reading your novel and your play, Death of a Salesman. We have split those up into due dates. Section 1 of Death of a Salesman was due on Monday, I think, so we should be moving through Section 2. Your success criteria, so, at the end, how you'll know if you were successful. Answered all the questions in the reflect style. I can completely answer questions using proof from original text. That's going to be huge. For all the work that we've done, you have to prove. It's great to have an opinion, but you also have to prove it using proof from the original text that we're working with. Make connections, relate the theme of your story to the greater world around me. That's, the final question of the test focuses on that. Writing reflects clear communication of ideas and spelling in terms of spelling and grammar. It does count, so please make sure your spelling and grammar on point. And has demonstrated understanding of the content and ideas expressed in Section 1 of the drama study. So, basically means you have read it. I would like you to have that Section 1 of your drama study read even before you take the test. So if you don't have that done, take half an hour, 40 minutes and get that read. It's only 35 pages, and it is a play. It's a lot of dialogue, so it's not like it's 40 pages of text. There's a lot of blank lines in there. So the summative task today is going to be the unit test that we're doing. This is a summative task. The mark for Unit 1 will come from this test, the presentation that you did, and your written analysis that you're going to get. So that's each one. So I believe, the assignments awaiting sheet that I gave you, the Google document that's on the overview, and in lesson 1, explain what each one of those is worth, so you can go and check there. So for this summative assignment, you'll complete a series of questions that cover 6 elements of a short story. Be sure to use proof and a detailed explanation for each answer. It's important to ensure your writing is reflective as well as expressive. In other words, that you're trying to explain what you or the character has learned, how they've changed because of decisions, events, objects, etc. Make sure you're not just retelling the story or not simply giving an answer. You please conform to that P paragraph style of answer, that 3-step process where you answer your question to make your point, use an example, and then you explain how the example proves what you said in your point. You'll be marked on: do you have knowledge of the 6 elements of short story? Demonstrating ability to make connections, expressive reflect style, spelling and grammar, and then have you used quotes, and are they cited properly? You don't have to do a works cited for this, but you should have embedded citations anytime you use a quote from the story, which you're expected to do. When you're done this, use the rest of the time today to catch up on work. If you haven't done your presentation or your written analysis, please make sure you're caught up or continue with your reading. So what you're going to do today is you're going to read the short story by Liam O'Flaherty called The Sniper. A little background. This story takes place during the Irish Civil War. It happened around the 1920s. And so it's important to understand the backdrop a little bit so you understand what's happening in the story. I've given you some information at the very bottom of the pages about what a civil war is and why it was occurring and kind of what happens in a civil war. Let's go up because I don't want to spoil the story for you. This is a good story. I enjoy it. So please feel free to interact with the short story using Google Read and Write. You can click up here and what's the top? That. This is our toolbar for Google Read and Write. We talked about highlighting, making comments, highlighting, where's my toolbar? Clicking, making comments here, is this important? As you go, hit comment, it'll stay there. So when you're coming back, again, we want you to be interacting with your reading. So read it, try to be thinking about the 6 elements of a short story as you're reading it, then go back to do the test once you've done that. Or, you can have the test open in another document as well. The test itself is here. We'll always ask you to make a copy of it. And you can do the test right on this document. Simply put your answers in between. So right here, you can just do the answers here. So read all the questions carefully and thoroughly and write your answers neatly. Obviously, you're typing it, so there shouldn't be a problem. Be sure to answer the questions in complete sentences where you use the question in your answer. Like the first one is, instead of just putting down what the point of view is, you would say the point of view of the story the sniper is, and then answer your question. And you're obviously going to, for each question, you're going to use evidence from the story in the form of direct examples and quotes to back up your opinion. This is extremely important. More than half your marks will come from how do you prove what you're saying and then explain how that quote you use proves what your answer is, right? So again, 3-step process: answer, example, explanation. Make sure when you talk about each element of a short story that you actually talk about everything to do with that element. You can't just talk about one thing. If there's 3 different aspects, if you're talking about, like I said, point of view, you can't just say it's first or third person. You say it's third person, you have to state whether it is, omniscient, limited omniscient, or reporter. You have to be as specific as possible to get full marks for these questions. Please proofread for correct spelling and grammar. And the mark value for each question is beside it. So obviously, what is the point of view of the story? It's worth 1 mark. Why? Explain why you feel it is. 2, you're making connection questions are always going to be worth more. So go through and you can just literally take it and, answer the question right here. And if you want, you can even, you can put your answer in a different color so it stands out, so I know what your answer is. Okay, and simply you're going to do that, and then you're going to, once you're done, you're going to submit it here to the Dropbox, and then you're all set. Please feel free to go ahead and use the sheet I gave you in lesson 1 on elements of a short story. I mean, you're not sitting here in front of me, so it's not cheating. You're simply using the information that you've been given to make sure you can do the best possible on the test. This is filtered through a plagiarism detector. So you cannot simply, Google, character in the sniper and copy and paste or rephrase what's saying there, because it will obviously pick that up. And obviously, if you plagiarize or you don't do your own work, then on a test especially, you're going to be getting 0. Okay, so that's it. Good luck on your test, and see you soon.